Hello, everyone. If you're stopping by after seeing the finale of Super Metroid, welcome back. If you're just joining on the Phoenix Wright playthrough and not the finale of Super Metroid, welcome. All right, so welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We are now at the first trial for Turnabout Samurai. So I guess without further ado, let's continue on, shall we? So now we are at the courtroom and not the lobby. Huh. Usually, usually it always starts at the lobby. Not the case for this, but oh well. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. Oh my goodness, the volume here is kind of loud on my part. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court? Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. She has a name, you know. It's Penny. Penny, okay? All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case, in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? I'm fine. I think I can probably remember that. So, the murder weapon was a spear? How medieval. Alright, the samurai spear is not part of the court record. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call this security officer to the stand. Be prepared for something. Will the witness declare her name? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. What? Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Just call me Grandma. Like I said, I'm not gonna bother with her fast talking. It's just too much. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objections sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dear. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed. The witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one heck of an old bag. Ugh, no kidding on that. Alright. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run through there since this morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5 o'clock. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers. That man right there. And he was heading toward the studio. Yeah. Was it really Powers? Let's take a look at this photo. What you see, you might think, yeah, since this is Powers. And he's wearing his costume, the Steel Samurai, which he acts in the show. Now, a bit of a spoiler warning. Will Powers and Jack Hammer share the same clothing size? Do you see where I'm getting with this? So how do we know this picture is Will Powers and not Jack Hammer? Recall what Will Powers said. He was sleeping at the time this whole incident happened. But the question is, why was he sleeping? Well, as I said, he was exhausted. More on that later. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? Sorry. Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, I'm losing it. On the day, all right. So basically, she was at the station at around 1 o'clock the day of the murder, and while they were doing these action sequence rehearsals throughout the morning, she went out to run errands. So, but by the time she got back to her station at around 1, she decides to go to the main gate from 1 p.m. until 5 o'clock. But the murder happened at around 2:30 p.m. Which was interesting to her, seeing that a certain man walked by her at 2 p.m. Now, she says it was Powers who was heading towards the studio. But the thing is, we're not sure. Hence, the reason why the name of this piece of evidence is called Powers, and it has a question mark in parentheses. So let's present this photo to Miss Oldbag. Let me get this straight, Oldbag, or Miss Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the misquote Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? Yeah. Well, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss, witness. He's having trouble calling her Oldbag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Noisy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. I think I read it right. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. There we go. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Oh, detective. Wow. Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then. Alright. Testimony number 2. The man in the photo. Here we go. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle? Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Yeah, that's basically that, and it is as it says. All you can do is just press her. You can't present any evidence right now, so all we can do is just press on the one statement that could be useful. So not that one. That morning during the run through of the action scene. No, not that one. I saw Powers trip and fall. Okay. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. In later games, like there would be like some dots representing each statement, like how many statements are in there. For the first, well, I wouldn't say first 3 games. Well, the first 4 games don't have that little feature. Alright, so let me see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm gonna press. He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear. The murder weapon? Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. And thus, the samurai spear evidence has been updated. Apparently he sprained his ankle. Let me go back to another prop here. No, not this one. Ah, here we go. That morning during the run-through of the action scene. I'll press for information here. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers. He's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. So she didn't see the run-through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. Alright, let's also press for this. Trip and fall? Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurts. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. Alright. I guess I can finally cycle through this whole testimony. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is... where is this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose you're right. Are you sure? You're sure, Your Honor? Are you sure you're sure? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Alright. Witness's account, continue. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Alright. Here we go. Let's see, so... the time of death of Jack Hammer was at 2:30 p.m. Yes, that is true. The only person she saw at the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. No one else went there. Let's see. Let's present that photo again. Something's not right. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo, are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m. Photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1? If it really was the only photo. Order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one, but 2 people went into the studio that day. Yet there is only excuse me. Yet there is only the data, no matter how you say it, it's alright, for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes. That's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help? Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Alright, here we go. Our next testimony. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I just go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking. You see? Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Yeah, we haven't seen Maya appear throughout this whole case, but now here she is. Alright, here we go. So basically she says that every day before her shift is over, she has one more important job to do, and that is to check every single picture that was taken throughout the day, and basically disposes any of the photos that aren't, quote, suspicious. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is press on the on this statement right here. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy. The fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you that they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably second or the third grade. What? Order! Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day? One was the Steel Samurai, dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about second or third grade? Oh, yes. Well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in second or third grade. I assumed it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Alright, so we're taking a little break. Well, that doesn't mean the part's over yet. There's still a bit of more of this trial that we have to go through. Alright, so we're back at the lobby. Mr. WP. Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping. Honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it. Really? What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Alright, so we're back at the courtroom. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? The reason why Wright is choosing Miss Oldbag is at least to buy some time. That's all I'm gonna say for now. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper. Hold on, let me get a little drink of water here. My throat is... okay, there we go. Now I can breathe. Very good. Alright. Order. Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Well, why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new darning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I get it. Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now, Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy. The one whose photo I erased. He's only a grade schooler, though, As you said, second or third grade, was it? The, that doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it being that? Oh, or is it being nice to the kids and mean to your elders? A whippersnapper? I have proof. Proof? Indeed. Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed the murder. Well, when you think about it, have y'all forgotten? The murder weapon, which was duct tape, and recall the past testimonies. The spear is heavy. That kid could not have held that samurai spear, even if he wanted to. That thing is heavy. Your Honor, the murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. The court will suspend proceedings for the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy. What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. The court is adjourned. This thus concludes the... Wait a second. I'm not going to... Oh, thankfully she hasn't run her mouth. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edward who told her not to talk? Well, testify. Alright, here we go. My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Weren't you paying attention, Judge? Yeah, what she said. Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. So yeah, there was other, so apparently Miss Oldback has said that there's more people that were there during during rehearsals, but after the murder occurred, who the people in charge told Miss Oldback to not say anything about it, pretend that they were never there at all. That is until finally she reveals. So as she said, the pretty much the head honchos at Global Studios wanted her to keep quiet. So yeah, so there were other people, but let's press for more information as to who these people were. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scenes without a director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Oops, sorry about that. Studio 2? There was a studio. There was a Studio 2. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You can go through the gate all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but yeah, let's take a break. Your Honor, we've learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand there, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. Prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldback, and more information about these other people we've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. There we go. The gavel has been slammed. Alright, so we're back at the lobby. Finally, the first part of the trial has ended. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Ah, really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I... we'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I. Nick? Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right. We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks, guys. Alright, and that concludes the first part of the trial. So, next time we meet, we go for investigation number 2, where we dig up more evidence on this case and getting some answers from not only the director but from the producer as well. So what evidence and testimony we find, well, just gonna have to wait. So until then, everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.